Hi, everybody. I really appreciate being here. As she said, I am an ICC alum, and I always feel that ICC is what grounded me to have the best future possible for myself. And so as I come and I speak at ICC, which I do quite a bit, Pam Dewey has had me multiple times come and speak to her classes, and it's always a delight. The one thing that I always like to focus on is the fact that right now, even as a student, you are connecting with people who can help you build your future. The people that I went to ICC with when I started at ICC a very, very, very long time ago, like Star Trek, Star Wars time, they are now the leaders in Central Illinois. They may have moved away and become leaders where they moved to. They may have moved away and returned and are now leaders here. They may have never left and become leaders. But that's the piece that's important, is that you are our leaders going forward. And keeping that mindset from this point, from today, from the moment that you start at ICC, that you are not just a student, but you are a leader of your own career, can make a total difference in how well you succeed and whether you reach your goals. So today we're going to talk about LinkedIn. Why are we talking about LinkedIn? How many of you have LinkedIn? Quite a few of you. That's phenomenal. How many of you have Facebook? The entire hand goes up. The entire room goes up. Well, you know, there's people that don't, and I'm gonna go outside my lines and say that there are times when I'm not on Facebook, simply because we have to have those boundaries with technology. As a creative technologist, I'm immersed, saturated in technology, not only of what we have today, but what is coming 5 years from now, what is coming 10 years from now, and what we are currently building in Peoria, Illinois, that we aren't actually going to see working for 10 to 15 years. And that's something to know, that technologies that you are waiting for are being built here in Central Illinois. We don't talk about it because, you know, there's these little things called privacy and keeping things safe and intellectual capital and research capital. We don't necessarily talk about it, but I'm here to tell you that the future technologies are being developed in Central Illinois. 3D printing, which is just now becoming the hottest thing to talk about, I saw in Central Illinois over 10 years ago. That little pawn or chess piece that you keep seeing everybody talk about, I have one, and I've had one for over 10 years because it was designed here. So be aware that even though technology does not seem to be the crux of where Central Illinois is going, it certainly is in the foundations. So, why LinkedIn? 10 years ago, 15 years ago, as a business person, we carried around a little pocket full of business cards. They were way smaller than that. Pocket full of business cards. Everybody had business cards. Everybody handed out business cards. Fonzie, who knows who Fonzie is? All right, what did Fonzie carry around? Anybody remember? A little black book and a comb, yes. A little black book. And in the little black book were all of the phone numbers and names for all of the chicks. But when you think about it, that was what was important, was that he had the book, he had the contacts. And what happened over the 80s and over the 90s is that we would go out as business people and we would meet all of these fantastic people. And we'd go back to our jobs and we'd sit down and we'd write everybody's name out and put it in our database. And then one day somebody would come to us and say, okay, yeah, you're no longer here. You're no longer a part of our company. Or you say, okay, I'm going to go work for this person, right? And what happens to that list of contacts? You copy it quickly, and you bail. But what happened more often for people your age was that you walked away from those contacts. You lost all of those people. And LinkedIn solves that, because no longer do you have to worry about keeping a contact list. With LinkedIn, you're going in and you're updating your information, which means I'm always going to be able to find Pam Dewey. And that's what's important. But let's talk about it from the college student level. Why LinkedIn? Oh, I'm hitting the wrong button. LinkedIn is a networking website for professionals. So much like Facebook, LinkedIn focuses only on the professional realm. It's also a research tool for career opportunities and advice, and it can help you figure out not only where it is you want to go, but how to get there and who can help you. It covers all industries, so whether you are someone who's interested in art or rocket science, you're going to be able to find people and professionals and groups that can help you reach your goals. Right now, there's over 200 million members, and this is something that's really important. 200 million members. 6 months ago, it was only 175 million. That means that people are continuing to get on it. How many of you have ever said, I'm done with Facebook, I'm leaving Facebook, I'm done, and walked away from it? And there's other social networks that are popping up to replace it. And social networks that, for the young, even the younger generations, that aren't using Facebook at all. Did you know that? There's things like Path and Feed and other social networks that are slowly gaining on Facebook. Well, LinkedIn is one that's not going to go away because it's going to be replaced. LinkedIn's value is all about the niche of professionalism. It's all about the niche of growing your career. And most of the people that are using LinkedIn, this is what's really interesting, are outside the US. So if you're looking for global opportunities, it's still a great tool for you. So let's think about what a social network. We all know pretty much what a social network is because most of us are on Facebook. But what a social network is that has to do with LinkedIn is how do you network? It's how do you find the person that can help you get to the goals that you want? Because often that person is completely out of your reach. LinkedIn helps you by giving you insight into that person's interest, that person's group, that person's job, and what feeds into that person's job. So let's talk about some components of successful networking once you're using LinkedIn. It all starts with having a profile on LinkedIn and building connections. So with so many of you on LinkedIn, I'm going to kind of step away from the building of the profile. We'll come back to it. But if we have one person that's not on LinkedIn, I will absolutely work with you. But I'm not going to spend a ton of time on how to build a profile. So let's talk about what's most important about using LinkedIn. And that is understanding how you make strategic connections. When you're on Facebook, who do you connect with? Friends. Who else? Who? Colleagues. In some cases. Do you want to connect with Dr. Irwin on Facebook?
Oh, on Facebook.
On Facebook. Yeah. Friends. Who else? Family. Anybody? Other fellow Hawkeye fans through the groups, right? Through the pages. But the people that you're connecting with on Facebook, those are the people who you surround your life with, who you enjoy being around. Are you going to have Aunt Maud, who's a pain in the butt, on your Facebook? Well, you might, but you might shut her up, right? Well, and would you accept Aunt Maud if you really could not stand her? Would you accept her Facebook request? Probably not. With LinkedIn, what's different? What's different with LinkedIn? Who do you want on your LinkedIn profile? Who would you connect with? Colleagues? People in your profession? What about people outside your profession? Yeah. What about people that you really not so much like, but wow, they have a lot of connections? Yes. What about people that you really don't know that well, but they're really active? Yes. The thing about LinkedIn that's different than connecting with the people on Facebook is that sometimes it's not about the person that you're connecting with, but it's about what else they can provide. And keep in mind that the second thing, one of the best things about LinkedIn is it's a give-get situation. That when you're part of the LinkedIn community, you're sharing your information just as much. In fact, the more active that you are, the more that you share, or the more that you're more helpful you are, the more you're going to get back from it. So how many are on LinkedIn and have less than 10 connections? Less than 50. Okay. When you first get on LinkedIn, you can hear the birds tweeting. There's nothing going on, right? There's nothing coming to your feed except advertising. Really, until you start building a wealth of connections, it's kind of a boring place where you're waiting for the circus to show up. So keep that in mind, that when you first start using LinkedIn, you don't get the full impact of it until you really start building connections. So when I told you to sit where there is a note card, what I want you to do with that note card is I want you to, on one side of it, write your name.
Does everybody have one in their pen?
Does everybody have one? Write your name. And then if you're a professional, write your title. If you are a student, write the occupation that you want to have. If you're a student and you don't know what that occupation is, write rock star, because we all want to be rock stars. Concert musician works too, that's fine. But if you like Tim Minchin, you got a little bit of both going on there. All right, so here's what I want you to do. I want you to pass that to the person next to you. And on the back of it, we're just going to keep passing these back. On the back of it, write your name and pass it on. Because what we're going to have by the end of this is you're going to go and find your card with your name and your rock star title on the back of it, and you're going to have the names of every other person in here, because you can connect with them on LinkedIn. And you can join the alumni group. Yep, we're going to talk about that too. All right, so let's talk about real quick what's the most important thing to have when you're working with your with LinkedIn, and that's your personal brand. How many of you know what a brand is? Who can tell me what a brand is? Name one brand. I'm sorry, what? I'm a Pepsi girl. I'm a Pepsi girl. I'm a Pepsi girl. All right, but all right, so here's some brands, right? Here's some brands that most of us are familiar with. Texaco, Firefox, Nike. Let's talk about Nike. Give me some adjectives or descriptors for what Nike is all about.
Just do it.
Just do it. Athletics. Tiger Woods. Shoes, hats, fitness, right? All right, so the thing about a brand that sets a brand apart is perception, is what people think about when they think about that brand. Campbell's soup. So when you think about your brand on LinkedIn, you know, LinkedIn is specifically designed for business owners and businesses. What is your brand going to be as a professional? That is what you need to consider. So, and I'm going to talk about doing dynamic resumes, but that's what it is that you want to be talking about. The things that are important to you that build your brand. So your brand is how others see you. When you're filling out your profile, these are the pieces that help you build your brand. It's understanding how do you write your summary of who it is that you are. You're basically, when you think about your summary, it's your elevator pitch. It's your 2-minute moment or 30-second to 2-minute moment where you explain who you are and what you want to be. It's what you say to people. It's how you celebrate. It's what you share. When you're on Facebook, give me some examples of what you share on Facebook. Cat pictures, right? Funny videos, right? But those are things that you share. Now let's think about that from let's think about that from a person who wants to be a veterinarian. On LinkedIn, what would they share? Kind of degrees, maybe articles about vet care, specific courses that they took. Correct. It's about what groups they join. So thinking about LinkedIn, thinking about being so over on LinkedIn, they have groups that you can join. Groups directory, sorry. And again, my profile is not moving at all. See that lovely thing right there? That's jobs. Groups directory. So tell me who has a specific career goal? Job title? Yes.
PR specialist.
PR specialist. So I'm still in groups directory, please. So to search groups, to join, you can go to groups and hit public relations, and it's going to give you all of the different public relations groups that are out there that you can join. And they have to do with everything. So let's see, there's 2,222 different public relations groups. Is there a topic within your public relations sphere that you want to focus on? Politics. House of Cards kind of thing going on? So here's a group that focuses on public diplomacy and diplomatic academy. But you can see that with so many, that's 7 years ago, when you went to groups, there were maybe 200 groups, and they were focused at the industry level. Now, you can not only can you go out and drill down to the exact topic, the exact thing that you want to focus your career on, but now you can create your own, and people will go out there and find it and join it. And that's a really important thing to know, because once you go out and you create your own group, you can either close it or open it. Open means that anybody can come in. Closed means that you get to say, yeah, you're fine. No, I'm not sure. I've seen you troll other things. No, so you can but you pull in the right people. What do you do then once you're in the group? Sorry?
Ask for money.
Asking for money is always a positive, yeah. Begin to engage. And what does that engagement look like? Starting a discussion. So within the groups that I am a part of, like let's say Board of Innovation, I'm really into innovation and where tech is going, and very focused on Star Trek and making Star Trek real. So I'm out there looking at everything that's possibly happening. So, and what's cool is that you're not limited to Central Illinois in that vision. You are now open to the global vision and the global knowledge resource. That's the key, is that you now have access to all of those thought leaders and all of the information that's out there. So let's say let's fix Belgian healthcare. Create a real business. Join Hack for Health. So that's a Twitter hashtag, right? But then he's explaining that on May 17th to 19th, we're going to be doing a Hack for Health. How many of you know what a hackathon is? Cool. Hackathon is really an awesome thing, especially for innovators. They'll put a topic out there and say, we're going to hack for health. It's going to be this weekend at this spot. Show up if you're interested in it. And they spend all weekend looking at problems and building solutions so that by Sunday night when you go home, there's something done. And it's fun. They make it fun. So they are hackathons. So this is a thing for a hackathon. And then people can come out and they can comment. They can say they like it. So let's say that I am Microsoft, right? Anybody out there want to work for a Microsoft or a Google or a Twitter? Anybody? Yeah, maybe? All right. Where do you think Microsoft's going to go to figure out who they're going to hire? Are they going to put an ad out? Are they going to go out and look for people who are already dedicated to the different causes that they have? Isn't that what you would do? To see who's out there and showing interest and dedication and determination to make it to be a part of it? That's where I hire. I would think that might be where they do. So this is an example. So also, you see that there's this members thing right there. Click on the members of the Board of Innovation. And you can see there's 9,000 members. But you can also see that within Peoria, we have Jake Hammond. You can actually drill down to do a geographic search and see. You can go right up here and do search. Peoria, Illinois. So, and then you can reach out or within that search and say, I have questions about this, or have you ever considered this? You can put a poll out there, and how could a poll help you as a student? Crickets. I can tell you I'm a student. I go to University of Phoenix for my bachelor's and finishing that up, and I do a lot of research papers. And when I need a question answered, this is where I go, because I can actually ask the experts. When I need a poll for an idea, is this a good idea? Is this a bad idea? What would you focus on? I can build a poll and send it out to global experts to say, what do you think of this? And they will act on it. The key is finding the groups that are active. And when you go into groups, you can tell who's active and who's not by how much of these little numbers are popping up. Like this has 6 questions. That's usually within the week. So if you see that's how you know that they're very, very active. Leadership Think Tank, Center for Creative Leadership, all of those, they're active groups. So that's what you can look for when you're looking to sign up for a group. But why do you think that this could help you? Yeah. I can tell you, here's the big secret of why I love LinkedIn so much. I joined LinkedIn when it started. I haven't looked for a job since then, simply because you're able to build such a strong and clear and concise profile of what you've done, what you've accomplished, those two things, but also, what do you want to do? What do you want to accomplish? Being able to put that message clear, concise, straight up on your profile. I'll show you my profile. Makes all the difference when people go looking for you. I might show you my profile. There you go. Slowly loading. All right. So you start with a summary of who it is you are, what it is that you're trying to do. You can add in, for all of you who are in design, graphic design, photography, I'm going to direct you because this is very important. Do you have an online portfolio? Okay. Where are you going to put that online portfolio?
They have this website so you can put them up like when you're applying for a certain job.
Okay. Here's the one to use. It's called Behance. Behance. Behance.com. Not only is Behance the most respected portfolio site in the United States or actually globally, you can also port in your portfolio into LinkedIn so that as a designer, not only will it show your commitment to professionalism, but it also shows your capacity for creativity. So use Behance, and it's free. You're welcome. You put in also, sorry, I'm scrolling way too much. All right. You put in also your experience, where you work, what you can do. And then also, if you've written any articles, if you've written any really awesome term papers, post them. Share them. Make sure your sources are there. That's the one thing that I love about APA. Once you learn APA and how to really use APA, thumbs up. You're good to go. What happens if you were unemployed for a while? Do you put unemployed? This is called marketing. It's called putting the very best frame on those times where you are without position. And whether as a student, that's one of the best opportunities of I was researching this, I was spending time doing this. But don't ever think that because you are not an employed person that you're out of the loop. You put down how you spent that time, whether it's a volunteer activity, whether it's a research activity, whether that research is only finding another job. Figure out how you can spin it so that it looks like you're very focused. And also, you can figure out that you can have honors and awards, because you can. Just because you don't have a job doesn't mean that you aren't doing something really awesome. Sorry. At work, I scroll up. This is making me scroll down. Honors and awards. If you hold in volunteer experience, these are the places that you can put all of the stuff that you're doing at ICC on a volunteer basis. Do employers look for that? Yes, we do. Absolutely. Especially when those things show us a mindset of where it is that you want to go and take it. Does that make sense? I'm going the wrong way again. Projects, creative projects, this is where you put those. If you've publications, this is where you can put your thesis. This is where you can put your articles, your research projects. No, I did it. I did the article for Art and Society on City Dance. So these are all of the articles. Yeah, very good. City Dance is an awesome organization. Make sure you put it on your LinkedIn. This is new. And this is a great thing. When you fill out your LinkedIn profile, it asks you to put in your skills and expertise, right? And then once you list your skills and expertise, all of the people that you've connected to have the ability to go in and +1 you and say, thumbs up, she knows what she's talking about. And that lends credibility to your profile. Because all the rest of the stuff that's in here, that's all you generating stuff, right? It's all up in your mind and your spin, it's marketing completely. But all of these, thumbs up, that means that people are going in and saying absolutely yes. So what does that mean to you as a student? It means that all of those people that are on that name, when you guys hit your profile, give those thumbs ups, because that will help them. And remember what I said in the beginning, that it's more about giving, 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 and then you get, that's the piece of it. Education. Where did you guys go? Here. Make sure that you connect with Elaine Goslin, because she knows how to use that thumbs up button, I'm telling you. And then also, you can see you can write an explanation of what it is that you studied at ICC. I need to do that, why ICC was awesome. Sorry, I'm scrolling the wrong way. Interests, these are where your interests lie. These are where you want your future to take you. And then comes one of the most powerful pieces. Once you have your profile up, you can ask other people to write recommendations for you. As a student, this is a phenomenal opportunity, because you don't have a ton of job performance recommendations, right? But you certainly, if you're involved in other activities, have other students that can say, yes, you did a great job, or he went above and beyond. And these recommendations can do more to show who you are and what you're capable of than any other piece. The more recommendations that you have, again, the more credibility that you're getting. Okay, so have I showed you enough about the profile of how to build a profile, or what goes into a profile? Okay, now here's where it gets really cool. How many of you hate building resumes? How many of you have built resumes and spent 4,000 hours on them? All right, here's the coolest thing ever. Just found it yesterday. When I found it, I was giddy. All right, so you go to this resume.linkedinlabs.com. This was the product of a hackathon, of a weekend of, hey, wouldn't it be great if? All right, so you go to this resume.linkedinlabs.com, and you hit sign in with LinkedIn, and guess what it's going to do? Hit continue, because you're going to give it permission to go to your profile. I'm going to pick the executive template, and it just built my resume for me. You can download it as a PDF and then put it as a file on your personal website.
Okay, and is that a good tactic to use, putting your resume on LinkedIn like that?
Well, your resumes are already on LinkedIn. This is taking all of the information, all the data that's on your LinkedIn. You can. Over here, there's the resume builder, so you can choose a template, because there's many different templates for you to choose from. If you don't like that layout, then you can choose the executive layout. You can choose there's all, so your resume will not look like everybody else's. And then once you do that, you can go in and say, okay, I want to edit it. And then you're editing your regular profile. Oh, Trevor, you get a thumbs up.
Would you have to edit your profile to change it, or is there a way to change, like, there's a lot of eyes on there because that was in your profile?
Right.
Get rid of that?
You probably do. But you can also, I think you can download it and work with it there, manage. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this is one of the key things that I think makes it just super cool, because no longer do you have to worry about the formatting. The formatting is going to create for you. 2 thumbs up. Questions, real quick, before I jump into the end.
I have a quick question. Amy.
Yeah.
Like, every so often I get people who want to link with me, but I have no idea who they are.
Is there? I mean,
I do when that happens. I do 2 things. I look at their profile and see if there's any obvious thing that I'm missing, and then secondly, I message them back and say, "How do I know you?" I mean, that's the thing. The second thing that I do, and this is a trick, is that on LinkedIn, it shows you, when you go profile, view profile, on your homepage, it shows you who's viewed you, so you can actually see who's been looking at your profile. And this is extremely helpful if you've actually applied for a job. Like, let's say I applied for a job at ICC, I can come in here and it's going to show me if somebody at ICC looked at my profile. Make sense?
okay.
So you can kind of track. And then if you have people, because all of these are first, like Joseph, when Joseph looked at my profile yesterday, and what I did, you're welcome, thank you so much. Joseph looked at my profile yesterday. I actually met Joseph yesterday. He came into the office at One Fire where I work. And so I had seen that he looked at my profile last night. So I messaged him back and said, "Hi, really great to meet you last night. Thanks for looking at my profile. I would really love to connect." And through that, we are now first level connections. And that's a really important piece, because when you start, and I know I'm a little over time, I'm going to give you one more tip and then we'll be done. When you're adding connections to LinkedIn, there are 2 or 3 really easy ways to do it. The first one is to load in your entire email database from Yahoo, Gmail, all of that. My advice to you is absolutely do not do that. I had a friend of mine who did that, who was a professional, long-time professional, did that, and it blew up in his face, simply because there were people in his contact list who he would not want to be on his connection list. You want to be very concise about who you invite. Now, that said, when you invite people, there are 2 different looks to how you can connect with people. So see this button right here that just says connect? All right, if I hit this button, all it's going to do is send her a message that says, "Hi, I'm Amy. I'd like to connect with you on LinkedIn," right? There's a second button, though. If I go in and I look at Tori Scott, I have no idea who Tori Scotty is, but I'm going to jump in and I'm going to look at her profile. It gives me a button that's blue, right? So you saw the difference. The first one's just the word. The second one has a button that's blue. The difference is if I hit just the word, it automatically sends a message that says, "I want to connect with you on LinkedIn." If I hit the blue, it actually lets me craft the message that says, "Hi, Tori, we've done business together. I can write a note that explains why I want to connect with you." This is a very important piece. The reason why is exactly because of the question that she asked. If you're connecting with someone who you don't actually know that well, and you want to explain to them why you want to connect, you're going to get a better response through including a personal note. Does that make sense?
You had one that said someone from Clifton Gunderston. Can you limit, for example, if I'm on a hiring committee, I want to look, but I don't want to know. Can I delete my trace kind of thing?
You can in your settings. When you can absolutely do that. I can go into my settings, and I can. It's going to take me just a second to do that. And also, please connect with me. One of my very favorite things to do in the world is help people connect with things that they're trying to do. So I welcome connections. You can go in through select who can see your activity feed, select who can see your connections, select what others see when there. Select what others see when you viewed your profile. So I can have it say my name and headline. I can have it say someone at OneFire, or I can be totally anonymous, which just irritates the crap out of me. Because then I like to know who's looked at my profile. They've just recently changed it, like in the last 2 days. Seriously, in the last 2 days. They've just recently changed it so that if I go and I say, load. If I go and I say, that person from Clifton Gunderson, it used to give me a list of all those people. Now it's just taking me here. And I can tell you pretty promptly it was probably Gregory Shaheen who looked at me because we just connected. But it used to be that it would give me 10, and so I could narrow it down to 10, but they've just taken that down, so I can't narrow it down at all.
I have another really dumb question, but I know that you're Amy at LinkedIn, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do I know who I am? I don't know how. I don't.
That's a great question, and that's actually why I wrote that down.
Okay.
At EIGHMMIE, that's been my brand, my personal brand for 20 years. And it's called a vanity URL. So Pam Dewey's, right here, this is her LinkedIn, and she can go and get a vanity URL. So I can help. You can just Google how to get a vanity URL on LinkedIn. But what that helps you do is that helps you that whenever you want to send somebody to your LinkedIn, you know exactly what to send them to.
That was one of the things when you registered for this, it said like your LinkedIn, and I was like,
I don't know what it is exactly. You have to know, but it's LinkedIn.com and then in because you're in, and then whatever. It could be Amy Lambert, it could be Pam Dewey. Amy, I just use Amy because that's my own personal brand. Any other questions? Yes.
You had said that you haven't looked for a job since you got on LinkedIn. So how do you go about job searching or getting people to find you?
Well, when I left Heart Technologies, phenomenal company. They do business technology in all of the companies within Central Illinois, larger organizations like the security and the networking and your access control. Absolutely fantastic company. When I left them in August, I did not change my LinkedIn. I waited just so I could take the time to watch the world and see where I wanted to go. Around October, I changed it to the possibilities are endless and currently seeking. As a student, what you can do and see where Pam has instructor at Illinois Central College. This is where you want to put it if you are currently seeking. That's the space, and I think it's called the title space. But that is where you'd put actively seeking opportunities in whatever it is that you want to do. And the reason why is because when you go and you do a search for Amy Lambert, when you go and you do a search for Amy Lambert, that's what comes up here. So as you look and that's what it would say, actively seeking opportunities in. Yes?
And may I interject?
Absolutely.
When you've completed a certificate or a minimum of 30 credit hours, you're eligible to join the Illinois Central College Alumni Association LinkedIn group. We have members like Amy who are currently in that group. It's a closed group, so we have to accept people. But that is going to be a space where you can say, I'm so-and-so, I'm about to graduate from ICC, I'm looking for a job. Does anybody know anyone in Charlotte, North Carolina? Other alumni associations use their LinkedIn group this way. So it's a way, it's an informal way to network, and you have a captive audience right there because you all have ICC in common. So a certificate or a minimum of 30 credit hours, and then you're able to get into our group. You may have to connect with Elaine Goslin first, and then I can invite you to join the group.
The thing about it is that with jobs, I mean, there may be this many jobs that are out there, right? But only that many are marketed. So the very first thing I did was change my title. But the very next thing, actually before I did that, was I sent a message out to my entire contact list saying, I'm currently available. This is the type of position I'm seeking. If you are aware of any opportunities, please have them contact me. It was a push and pull those opportunities to me. I didn't spend any time on Career Builder. I didn't spend any time on LinkedIn, on Monster. My entire focus was, and this is the piece. Remember when she introduced me, it's about a living career building for yourself. So every day, every other day, I'm spending time connecting with people. I'm spending time talking in groups. I'm spending time, but it's job related because I'm focusing on the technologies that OneFire delivers. I'm focusing on Startup Peoria, which is all about building